Right now, there's a message racing through space at the speed of light containing your home address, your DNA, and exactly how to kill you. We sent it ourselves. And in about 12 years, something might send an answer. On November 16, 1974, humanity committed what might be the greatest mistake in our species' history. Using the most powerful radio transmitter on Earth, we broadcast a message to the stars, announcing our existence, our location, and our vulnerabilities to anyone listening. The scientists who sent it thought they were being pioneers. But what if they were actually signing our death warrant? Because here's what they didn't consider. If the universe operates under dark force theory, if every civilization destroys others to ensure their own survival, then the Arecibo Message wasn't humanity's greeting card. It was a target painted on Earth, visible for 25,000 light-years in every direction. The Arecibo radio telescope in Puerto Rico was, until its collapse in 2020, one of humanity's greatest scientific instruments. 305 meters of aluminum mesh cradled in a natural sinkhole, capable of detecting whispers from across the galaxy. But on that November day in 1974, it wasn't listening, it was screaming. Dr. Frank Drake and Carl Sagan had crafted a message. 1,679 binary digits arranged in a 73 by 23 grid, both prime numbers, impossible to occur naturally. Any intelligence receiving it would immediately recognize its artificial origin. The message lasted exactly 168 seconds. Less than 3 minutes to potentially doom our entire world. The target was M13, the Great Hercules Cluster. 300,000 stars packed into a sphere 145 light-years across, hanging 25,000 light-years above the galactic plane. They chose it because it would be visible in the sky during the ceremony. That's it. That was the criteria for potentially exposing humanity to cosmic annihilation. Convenience. But here's where it gets worse. The scientists told everyone the message would take 25,000 years to reach M13 and another 25,000 for any response. 50,000 years of safety. Except they made a critical error. They forgot about relativistic motion. M13 isn't stationary, it's moving. By the time our message reaches where M13 is now, the cluster will have moved on. Our message will hit empty space. But that's not the terrifying part. The terrifying part is what the message passes on its way. Because between Earth and M13 lie thousands of star systems, hundreds of thousands of planets. And our message, spreading outward in an expanding cone, will wash over every single one of them. We didn't send a targeted letter. We sent a cosmic broadcast to a stadium full of potentially hostile strangers. Conservative estimates suggest the Arecibo Message has already passed over 1,000 star systems. By 2036, just 12 years from now, it will reach HD 164595, a sun-like star with confirmed planets. By 2090, over 100,000 stars will have been exposed to our signal. Any one of them could harbor a civilization advanced enough to decode our message, and primitive enough to see us as a threat. Let me show you exactly what we told them. The message, when properly decoded, reveals 7 distinct parts. First, the numbers 1 through 10 in binary. A mathematical handshake. Harmless enough. Then the atomic numbers of hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus, the building blocks of DNA. We're already telling them we're carbon-based life. We're giving them our chemistry. Part 3 is where we start making fatal mistakes. We included the formulas for the sugars and bases in DNA nucleotides. The literal recipe for human genetic material. Part 4. The number of nucleotides in human DNA and a graphic of the double helix structure itself. We didn't just tell them we exist. We told them exactly how we're built, how to target biological weapons, how to engineer viruses, how to unravel us at the molecular level. Part 5 shows a human figure, the average height of a human male. and the population of Earth in 1974, 4.3 billion. Now they know our size, our shape, our numbers. Part 6 diagrams our solar system with Earth highlighted, showing which planet the message originated from. We literally pointed to our house and said, "We live here." And Part 7? A graphic of the Arecibo telescope and its dimensions. We showed them the very tool we use to send the message, advertising our technological level. Advanced enough to build massive radio telescopes. Not advanced enough to defend against interstellar attack. Dr. John Billingham, former head of NASA's SETI program, later called the Arecibo message profoundly unwise. He wasn't alone. As our understanding of cosmic sociology evolved, more scientists began to realize the potentially catastrophic implications of active messaging. The debate split the scientific community into two camps: SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and METI, messaging extraterrestrial intelligence. SETI advocates believe we should listen, but not transmit. Like prey animals at a watering hole, we should observe silently, learning who else shares our cosmic neighborhood before revealing ourselves. METI supporters argue we have nothing to fear, that any civilization advanced enough to reach us would be beyond petty concerns like resources or territory. But that assumes alien psychology mirrors our best angels rather than our worst demons. It assumes they've overcome the very evolutionary pressures that made them successful enough to achieve interstellar capability. It assumes they're not like us. And here's the truly horrifying part. Arecibo wasn't our only transmission. It wasn't even our loudest. Since the dawn of radio technology, Earth has been leaking electromagnetic radiation into space. Every radio broadcast, every television signal, every radar ping, all of it racing outward at light speed, announcing our presence to the cosmos. But those signals are weak, diffuse. They fade into the cosmic background noise within a few light years. The Arecibo message was different. It was focused, powerful, intentional. At its peak, it was the strongest signal emanating from Earth, briefly making our planet the brightest radio source in the solar system. Since 1974, we've sent more deliberate messages. In 1999 and 2003, the cosmic call messages were transmitted from Ukraine's Evpatoria planetary radar. In 2008, Doritos, yes, the chip company, broadcast an advertisement to a star system 42 light-years away. In 2016, a message was sent to Proxima Centauri, just 4.2 light-years away. If anything lives there, they'll receive our message in 2020. They've had 4 years to prepare a response. But let's return to the dark forest hypothesis, the cosmic theory that keeps many scientists awake at night. Imagine the universe as a dark forest filled with hunters. Every civilization is armed, alone, and terrified. The first rule of survival? Stay quiet. Because in a universe where you can't know another civilization's intentions, where technology advances exponentially, where first-strike advantages could mean species survival, the only logical choice is to destroy any civilization you detect before they can destroy you. Now imagine a young, naive civilization that starts shouting its location into that dark forest. That's us. That's what we did. And if the dark forest theory is correct, we've already made the last mistake we'll ever make. The counter-argument is that any civilization capable of interstellar travel doesn't need our signals to find us. They could detect our atmosphere's oxygen signature, the electromagnetic bubble of our technology, the very heat signature of our civilization. We're already visible to anyone with advanced enough instruments. But there's a crucial difference between being visible and actively announcing yourself. Between leaving footprints and firing a flare gun. Dr. David Brin, astrophysicist and science fiction author, proposed a chilling possibility. What if Earth's unusual history, our improbable moon, our stable climate, our lack of nearby gamma-ray bursts, isn't luck? What if it's evidence that someone or something has been clearing our local space of threats, keeping us safe while we develop? And what if that protection assumes we'll have the sense to stay quiet? By broadcasting our location, we may have violated the terms of a protection we didn't even know we had. We may have graduated from protected preserve to legitimate target. The cosmic equivalent of a teenager leaving the safety of home and wandering into traffic. The most optimistic scenario is that the universe is empty, that we're shouting into a void, that the Fermi paradox exists because we're truly alone. But if that's true, it raises an even more terrifying question. Where is everyone? Did they all make the same mistake we just made? Are we surrounded by the electromagnetic tombstones of civilizations that broadcast their locations and paid the price? So when should we expect an answer? If a civilization near HD 164,595 receives our message in 2036 and immediately sends a response, we'd hear back in 2060. If they send a probe at 10% light speed, achievable with our physics, it arrives in 2276. If they send a relativistic kill vehicle, a simple mass accelerated to near light speed, we have 252 years left. But that assumes they wait to receive our message. What if they detected our early radio emissions, our nuclear tests, our industrial revolution? What if they've been debating what to do about us for decades? What if the message that dooms us is already on its way? Sent not in response to Arecibo but to our first radio broadcasts in the 1920s. Those signals have now reached over 1,000 stars. Any response would arrive right about now. Every night, radio telescopes scan the sky. Every night, we check for signals, for responses, for warnings. And every night, so far, we hear only silence. But silence doesn't mean safety. It might mean something is taking its time, calculating the perfect response, preparing the optimal solution to the problem we've announced ourselves to be. In 2020, the Arecibo telescope collapsed, its massive receiver crashing through the dish that had broadcast our location to the cosmos. Some called it a tragedy for science. Others quietly wondered if it was a mercy, the universe's way of stopping us from making the same mistake twice. But it's too late. The message is sent. The signal expands outward at light speed, unstoppable, irreversible, eternal. Somewhere in the cosmos, in about 12 years, an alien astronomer might detect an artificial signal from a yellow star. They'll decode prime numbers, chemical formulas, DNA structures. They'll learn about a young civilization that builds radio telescopes but hasn't yet left its home planet. They'll face a choice: ignore us, contact us, or eliminate a potential future threat while they can. And we'll wait, listening to the silence, wondering if each passing year brings us closer to first contact or last contact. Because we sent our address into the dark forest. And something out there might have heard. The Arecibo message was either humanity's greatest achievement or its final mistake. In 12 years, we might start finding out which. Until then, we can only wait, listen, and hope the universe is emptier than our equations suggest. Because if it's not, if the forest is full of hunters, then every night that passes without contact isn't evidence of our safety. It's evidence that something is taking aim. If the implications of our cosmic messages have left you questioning humanity's future, explore what might already be here in our investigation of missing time phenomena. Or discover why some physicists think the universe itself might be artificial in What If Reality is a Simulation and It's Glitching? Subscribe for more explorations into the decisions that might define, or end, our species. Next week, we examine the satellite images that governments don't want you to see. Until then, look up at the stars and wonder, is their silence a gift or a countdown?